We reached out to different student communities across campus to really understand what the student experience looks like from diverse perspectives, understanding what the campus issues are from those diverse perspectives, and putting that together in a more comprehensive platform.
So what that looks like for us in student government is really shaping kind of the student organizations by helping connect you guys with the student leaders and the administrators that can actually make your initiatives happen.
We're the most realistic ticket to move forward with this process when running for president and vice president.
We've both also been involved in a number of organizations throughout different spectrums of campus, and we feel that we are really well suited and well poised to represent diverse areas of student life in all of its multiple facets on campus.
So what we recognize with any sort of social issue when it comes to discrimination or prejudice is that if you're not part of the community that has personally experienced that discrimination or experienced that prejudice, you do not recognize that it exists on campus. And so what we're actually proposing is creating a system in which students can actually lodge complaints, so a way that students can actually identify bias on campus as well as figure out ways that you can intervene.
Are you aware that the Black students on campus already have a self-reporting tool? Yes or no?
We are aware that there's discussion about a self-recruiting tool to be created, but we were not aware that there is currently a tool that is formalized.
So what that looks like right now, because I serve on the Black Student Experience Task Force, there's a tool that they use to give out to students to report some of the incidents that they faced on campus. How would you push forward this external tool coming from an outsider to the Black community?
It really does start by having a conversation as to what does that tool look like currently, who is it affecting currently, and who is that benefiting.
The way that you change this campus culture is not just having the conversations, but enacting the policies that go behind it to change campus culture. Some things that Shane and I wanted to work on, especially this year, the issue of funding cultural food. So like Shane mentioned before, he's been very involved in the resolution process for that. We wanted to create a cultural and interfaith center looking at where we can have a space for not just Black student organizations, but Asian American students and students of all cultural and religious backgrounds.
Right, so some things that we've already done working on this issue is that Nagela has started the white paper for the Interfaith and Cultural Center. We've identified key administrators who are in favor of pushing it forward. We've also identified donors like Jerry Cox who are interested in moving forward with it. And we've also held interfaith dialogues, and so we're looking forward to having more open forums and discussions to help us better understand how we walk in each other's shoes in the future.
So to get into specifics, how do you plan to expand the reach of SGA specifically?
So first, I want to, once we take office, I would like to email all of the BSOs, AASA, all the cultural orgs, and give them cabinet applications. That would be the first step. And if we're going to say that we want a diverse SGA, we gotta back that up, and we gotta get these applications out to people so they can see things that they might be interested in and translate their skills and their positive experiences into things that can work positively for student government.
So would you say that your primary way of gathering student opinion will be through town halls, or will it be through traditional methods such as email?
All of the above.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you want to reach out to people in person, you want to be emailing, you want to be using social media, you want to be using every conduit of information and every path, every resource that you possibly can.
So what we're really focusing on is creating a petition system similar to whitehouse.gov, through the new org6 system, where students can actually submit petitions, and if they get above a certain threshold of signatures, then we as legislative branch of student body can actually vote on that and then work alongside the students to see that it comes to fruition.
So do you worry that by creating a threshold, having this petition system would limit the ability to garner student issues that face smaller groups of students? If the threshold is too low, you're going to get a lot of things, and if it's too high, you're not going to get a lot of things.
But the point of having a threshold to begin with is so that we're not seeing every single referendum that people push into the system. It is something that the threshold is there to showcase that students do care about the subject, and that is something that we should be discussing at minimum.
Do you not think that those issues would be things that we'd already be hearing as SGA, or things that would be brought to our attention, such as the Fight Song Change petition that obviously garnered a huge amount of steam really quickly?
So this is really kind of a platform to, again, give people the opportunity to have a voice. And if we see an issue that we feel strongly about, if it doesn't have the threshold of signatures that we require, it's not like we're going to ignore that issue. It's still an issue that we want to reach out to that community and have a discussion about to really kind of identify, why they are concerned.
What was the numeric value assigned to the threshold?
Oh, we didn't assign one to the threshold yet. That's what I'm saying. We're going to have discussion about what that threshold is going to look like.
Okay. Do you have an approximation, or
No.
is it just a concept?
It's a concept.
So when Shane and I talk about mental health on campus, it's something that's really important to both of us. We're both really passionate about it. So the first thing that we wanted to do was work with parking and transportation, specifically on that idea of ticketing students. So our idea is to propose a text alert system, kind of the same way they do with Clary Acts or whatever, or G10s. And so just to let students know that we're closing this space tomorrow, you need to move your car by this date or else you'll be ticketed. Right now that conversation isn't happening.
So on the topic of mental health, both sides, as SGA representatives, propose things that would require a fair amount of student engagement or student involvement if they were seeking out mental health resources. Do you have any idea on how you might pose those resources to students who are not in a mental state to go following them up effectively?
Another way to reach out to those who are unreachable is also, again, partnering with student organizations. So the NIT membership would be a great way to actually do so. Or the NIT mentorship program would be a great way to do so. So making sure that we partner with them in terms of reaching out to people who would otherwise normally not be in the loop about these resources.
I agree with what was said in a large part by Anju, and I actually am a NIT mentor, so I'm hoping that I can have some impact in that way on a personal level. But as someone who's struggled with long-term depression and anxiety, I find that I would not be predisposed to going in to see somebody or talking to somebody, even in my fraternity. And so I find that for me, what's worked best is having internet resources that I can go to and look up things and ask questions. And so basically that would be an additional portal in Buzzport, kind of like clicking Registrar, clicking Oscar, and that would redirect you to things that are not only campus resources, but city, state, and national resources such as hotlines, mentoring programs, just different online resources, things that you can access at the touch of a button so you can be better connected with things that affect you in an anonymous and shame-free way.
Ben and I have been running on both substance as well as preparedness. The fact that our platform has been over a year in the making, in addition to our extensive experience within student government, we feel makes us the best ticket for this post. What we propose are creative ideas. What we propose are ideas that both faculty, administration, as well as student leaders are willing to listen to and willing to consider implementing moving forward.
So we understand that we have a year in our office, but it takes longer than a year to actually get these things done. So we have to set the groundwork to actually make bold and visionary changes for the next generation of tech students.
And we just wanted to emphasize that we've been working on a lot of these issues that we talked about today. And we've met with the groups throughout the last couple of years that we've been here on campus. We are coming from various backgrounds and we understand the student opinion and we feel very qualified to represent it.
Like Nagela said, this is not something we've been working on just in the past couple of months. It's been a lot longer in the making. And so we think that, like I said before, we're not here to deliver unrealistic expectations of what's possible within the scope of 1 year or what's possible within the framework of SGA or within the framework of how Georgia Tech operates and is funded. What we're really here to do is deliver results based on actionable ideas and implementable plans.